here to talk about the Case TV620B, the newest CTL put out by Case Construction and the sister machine to the DL550, also known as the Minotaur. While the machine currently only comes with rubber tracks, later this year the option for steel tracks is going to be added to the machine. This machine is impressive, weighing in close to 17,000 pounds by the time it's fully equipped. This is a very heavy machine, but at the same time it also boasts 114 horsepower. The TV620 also boasts a hinge pin height of 11 feet 6 inches, meaning you shouldn't have a problem dumping into the side of a semi or a dump truck. The question I wanted to answer today, while the machine looks impressive on paper, does it actually hold up when you put the machine in the dirt?
Alright guys, so we are in the cab of the 620B, and I have to say the B series skids, I am thrilled to death with the cab layout. This whole screen, very easy to read, very quick to find your information. Pattern switcher is right here, super easy, quick to switch over. You have the new column layout here, so you have your push to operate button, your actual ignition instead of being the 4 buttons, which was a terrible design in the Alpha series. Now you've got this knob here to take care of that. You've got a hand throttle here, lights here. The new controls ergonomically so much better than the old style. The controls are a little stiffer than I'd like, but I'm sure it's one of those things over time these would wear to the point that they're a little looser. You wouldn't have as much feedback or as much pressure pushing back on the controls. So I'm not so concerned with that, just kind of overall. I think that'll get better with time. You've got a much better button design here for your bucket release, your coupler release, and then you've got different hydraulic patterns over here. You have creep mode, you have your selector for whether you want regular flow, standard flow, high flow, or enhanced high flow. We have a fan reverser here where I can manually reverse my fan. So it's going to go through the reversing process here, and then it will return to normal operation. We also have in the new machine, I love this, there goes the fan reverser. We also have auto ride control. So I can turn this on and off. If you want to go back to the traditional ride control where you pull your trigger here, you can do that. But I love this machine because it's got auto ride control, and you can actually change the ride control settings, how fast you need to be going before the ride control kicks in. That can all be changed here in this menu, which is a really nice feature. Then you move down to your wipers and your climate control. So really, really, really nice cab layout on the new B series skids. And that's, you know, that's not even just the 620, that's any B series skid has this cab design. So it's a really, really nice cab design, great visibility. One of the things that they did that we talked about is they moved your bucket cylinders kind of in line with the boom arms to give you even more visibility. I'm sitting back in the seat and I can see the corners of my buckets. In the Alpha series, I generally have to lean up about like this in order to really see my bucket corners. So overall, really, really nice cab design. So with that being said, we're gonna start getting into some piles here and we're gonna see how this thing performs. Say this, the cab noise is pretty loud on this machine. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a skid steer, so you'd expect a fair amount of cab noise, but this is pretty stinking loud. And the pump is pretty whiny. I did get out and check to make sure I had enough hydraulic oil, just because it does whine a fair amount. So I don't know if the camera's really picking it up. There's a decent amount of flex across the boom arms here. So if I go in with this corner of my bucket and start to lift up, like that's a fair amount of flex across there. I don't know if that's going to be problematic or if that's designed to flex that much, but that is a little bit of a cause of concern for me. Just kind of initially off the get-go thinking about it and noticing. Let's see how well this can push. hydraulics in the B series, if you hated the Alpha series hydraulics like most people do, go try a B series machine. It is night and day. They have totally redone the hydraulic system from the actual EH controls here in my handles to the valving in the back. It has all been entirely redone, and it is not the same machine. Man, this thing is a monster. All right, we're gonna see if we can push this pile. There's those 650 drives coming in. Look at that. Beautiful. I think that's right about the limit. I don't know that you're going to get much more out of it before you just start spinning your tracks or you bog it all together. But that's impressive. Impressive. I'm happy with that. It's definitely loading up the machine, but I am pushing right through that pile with no problem. You know, it's funny, I've run case for so long, I'm not used to having a backup camera. So I keep looking up at my big mirror, which I do love the fact that they kept the big mirror, even though you got a reverse camera. But I need to get used to looking over at that backup camera. Take advantage of the technology while you got it, right? So from a production standpoint, this machine, in theory, has a quicker cycle time than the 450, even though it's a bigger machine. In other words, to grab a bucket, take it to full height, dump, and return to dig is actually a faster cycle time than the 450. So let's do a quick cycle here. Yeah, look at that, just pushing right through. Look at that, man, that is impressive. All right, so we'll test our cycle time. Whoops, may have loaded her up a little bit there, but I will say this, as loaded as that bucket is, as heaped as that bucket is, no issue, absolutely no issue lifting. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take it all the way up. Look at how fast that is. I don't even have the hydraulics set to their fastest setting here, and this sucker is quick. I think the people here at the dealership are going to be a little upset that I got their machine dirty, but this is what it is to test it, right? Beautiful. This is a nice, smooth machine. I'm very impressed with this machine. In all honesty, this is a really nice machine. All right, everybody, as I said in the beginning of this is not a formal review of this piece of equipment. I've taken it out in the yard here under very controlled conditions for about 20 minutes and put it through some paces, but the goal was to take it out, get it under load, and see how it performed. And I can say, so far, I've been very impressed with this machine. It's really, really smooth to operate. It did have a lot of power, as you could see in the clip, where we were pushing through the pile of loose material. I probably had about 5 or 6 yards there on the ground, and that machine loaded up, but once it loaded up and set that weight down on the tracks, I was able to power right through. As I've mentioned before, the B series cab layout is just night and day from the Alpha series. If you have had a bad experience with the
Alpha Series skids, I would highly encourage you, 620 aside, I would highly encourage you to jump in the seat of a B Series skid and give it another shot. It is a totally different machine these days. They've also worked out a lot of bugs. Moving back to the 620 specifically though, just unbelievable capacity. Even when I had that bucket fully loaded up and went to rip back on the joystick, it had no issue lifting that bucket full of material, to the point that I flung some all over the cab. I mean, the hydraulics are unbelievably responsive, but unlike the Alpha Series, the responsiveness feels controlled. You are in control. It's not a jerky, jittery movement that you're having a hard time really finessing. I could very easily finesse when I was playing around with the grade work back there. So overall, I am very, very excited about this machine. I look forward to the opportunity of actually putting it on a job site and putting it through its paces. So I hope this has been helpful. We'll catch you guys on the next Down and Dirty.